morning, everybody. Thank you for checking out the video on this Good Friday, April 7th, 2023. I was studying the story the last couple of days about from the Last Supper onto the crucifixion. One of the things that stood out to me was when the Jewish leaders got the Roman officers together to take Jesus over to Pontius Pilate. The scripture says that the Jewish leaders were afraid to step into the palace of Pontius Pilate because they wanted to remain clean for the Passover that was coming. I found that pretty ironic that they don't mind setting up an innocent man and asking somebody to execute him so they don't have to. All that's okay. You still have a clean heart even though you're plotting something like that. It's just very bizarre, the mindset that they had as high priests in those days. It just shows you what can happen when you become self-righteous, as they did. But I just wanted to share some of the tranquility of this area with you today. Very peaceful, very beautiful. So I wanted to take a little moment just to share something about my channel if you haven't found it yet or you're new to it. Well, you probably did find it since you're here looking at it. But anyway, this channel is not about fancy videos or who can get the most subscribers. I started this channel to try to help and encourage and maybe even teach each one of us in ways that only God can do. The Lord has given me poems to write over the years, and I never knew what to do with them. And in recent weeks, different people have asked me, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I decided that this was just a gift that was wrapped in a package that I never opened up to share with people the way I should have. I was always looking for how maybe I could get selfish gain out of the poems by writing a book or something like that, but that's not what's important. God gave me these poems to be able to share the truth with people. And that should be a free gift, just like the free gift that he gave for us on the cross of his Son. So I'm trying to be obedient and allowing God to work and hopefully grow this channel into a real ministry for people to gather and read the poems and get comfort. I don't want a lot of distractions with wild videos. I just want you to listen to the words and just absorb what's being said. Many of the poems over the years I wrote, and as God poured the words into my heart, tears would just flow down my cheeks as the Spirit was speaking to me and telling me what to write. Sometimes I didn't have a pen. I would drop everything no matter where I was and start running to find something to write with and write down on, because I didn't want to lose the moment of when God was speaking to me. Now, I've never been a person that really enjoyed poetry. I never really enjoyed writing. But I guess that's the kind of faulty people God uses sometimes for His glory. So, as far as my Christian walk, there's been highs that have been very extreme, and there's been the lowest lows. But the Lord will never leave you or forsake you. He is always there for you, no matter how much you feel, no matter how depressed you get, no matter how angry you get. You can always turn back to God. One of my poems I was reading this morning is called My Sin on His Cross. And sometimes, excuse me, when I go back and read these poems, sometimes I actually read them and I'm shocked at what I read, because I can't believe it comes out of my mouth sometimes. But one of the lines in that poem talks about my sin being on the cross next to Jesus' crown. And I'm up on the cross trying to pull my sin off the cross, which is the exact opposite of what I should be doing. My sin needs to remain on His cross, because He forgave every single one of them. Just like every one of us who have come to know Him, asked for forgiveness and invited Him to live in our hearts. We gave Him those sins for Him to nail on His cross. And our job is not to take those sins back and dwell on them and get depressed over them and just relive history all over again. Our job is to leave those sins on His cross and let His blood of forgiveness flow over them and let them become part of the past that we don't any longer have to hang on to. In closing, if God gives you a gift, open it up, share it with others. Give Him glory for using you as His vessel. One of many gifts that I have been given was writing these poems. What is your gift? Ponder on that today. Think about how God can use you. Because, like what He's doing in me, He will surprise you at what He can do in you. So, make sure you take out one of the Gospels today and read about the crucifixion and how Jesus Christ suffered for us by taking on the whips that tore His flesh, the nails that went through His feet and hands, and that spear that thrusted into his side. It's just such amazing love. So powerful. You know, at the Last Supper, Jesus handed Judas the piece of bread, and he said, now do what you do quickly. It's kind of funny because those words that he told Judas set the whole thing in motion. All Jesus had to do was sit there and not say, go do what you need to do quickly. And everything would have turned out fine. But because he wanted to be obedient and pay his sacrifice right up to the end, he paid the ultimate price. So there's a noisy boat coming, so I'm going to end it right here. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.